Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
You ever get played so bad you start Googling how to legally ruin someone's life? Yeah, that was me. Jordan Matthews. 5'11" bundle of trust issues and unexpected creativity. Now, I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not exactly losing sleep over it either. Well, I am losing sleep, but that's just my usual anxiety mixed with the constant replaying of my revenge fantasy highlight reel. And before you judge me, just remember, I didn't start the fire. I just bought the gasoline, the matches, and maybe 1,000 tiny arsonists with 6 legs and an appetite for biblical justice. Her name was Alyssa. Light brown curls that somehow always smelled like coconut, a bright smile that made her eyes crinkle at the corners, and the ability to lie with the sincerity of a pastor at Sunday service who's just been caught with the church secretary. I met her at my buddy Derek's housewarming party. Derek, the same friend who once convinced me that chocolate milk comes from brown cows, introduced us with a wink that should have been my first warning. "Jordan, this is Alyssa. She works in marketing." The way Derek said marketing with a slight emphasis made it sound like she sold black market organs on the dark web. But no, she actually worked for some startup that helped other startups create buzz about being startups. It's very meta, very millennial, very "let me explain what I do for 45 minutes and you still won't understand." But man, her laugh. It was like someone took the sound of champagne bubbles popping and turned it into a human expression. By the end of the night, I had her number and a slightly embarrassing story about how I accidentally used women's deodorant for 3 months because I didn't read the label. Our first date was at this hipster coffee shop where they serve lattes in beakers and the baristas have more tattoos than a prison yard. I spilled my $8 coffee on my shirt within the first 10 minutes. She dabbed at it with a napkin, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "I like clumsy guys. They're always trying harder to impress." I was hooked, like a fish who not only swallowed the bait, but also offered to clean the fisherman's boat afterward. By month 3, I was already splitting rent and splitting checks. We found this cute little 2-bedroom near Westlake with hardwood floors and a balcony big enough for exactly 1.5 chairs. The half chair was for our neighbor's cat, who somehow always knew when we were grilling. This is it, I thought. This is what people mean by when you know, you know. What I didn't know was that I was dating an Olympic-level con artist with the moral compass of a reality TV show villain. It started with the little things. My favorite hoodie going missing. She'd blame the laundromat ghost. My leftovers disappearing from the fridge. Must have been my midnight snacking that I somehow had no memory of. But then came the splitting headaches trying to figure out why my account kept overdrafting. Here's me, working 50-hour weeks at a software company where my boss thinks work-life balance means you should work while you're alive and rest when you're dead. Meanwhile, my bank account looked like it was on a crash diet. I checked my banking app one night while Alyssa was at girls' night, which, as I would later learn, often featured a very specific girl named Malik, who had an Adam's apple and a gym membership. $3,200 gone, labeled under miscellaneous. Now, I don't know about you, but my miscellaneous spending usually tops out at a drunk Amazon purchase of novelty socks or a gadget I'll use once and then store in my drawer of shame. Not $3,000. That's not miscellaneous. That's a down payment on a small boat or approximately 800 cups of overpriced hipster coffee. I scrolled through my transaction history like I was reading a horror novel, each swipe revealing a new financial nightmare. $200 at Beauty Box Online. I have exactly 1 face wash and a stick of Old Spice. $350 at Urban Threads. My idea of fashion is whatever t-shirt passes the sniff test. $175 at Vine Pour Liquors. I'm allergic to wine. It gives me hives and makes me talk about my childhood trauma. I never gave Alyssa access to my account. But apparently, leaving your phone on Face ID around your girl while you shower is an invitation to financial robbery. She must have added her face to my recognition settings. Who does that? Who looks at their partner's sleeping face and thinks, you know what would be cute? Identity theft. And then, the final insult to my already wounded bank account and pride, a pair of lace panties in my laundry that weren't mine or hers. They were size small. Alyssa wore medium and complained about it constantly, despite looking amazing. These mystery undergarments had a tiny embroidered K on them. Unless the laundromat ghost was named Kathy and enjoyed leaving her lingerie as calling cards, something wasn't adding up. I didn't confront her. Not at first. I waited. Because when someone treats you like a fool, the best thing you can do is let them underestimate just how smart of a fool you are. So I became Sherlock Holmes if Sherlock Holmes wore Target brand jeans and had crippling self-doubt. I started tracking everything. And I mean everything. Her Venmo transactions? Downloaded. Her business trips that somehow never involved business clothes? Mapped. Her gym visits where she never came back sweaty? Timed and noted. I created a spreadsheet that would make an FBI analyst blush. Color-coded, cross-referenced. I had more tabs open on my laptop than a therapist has issues to unpack. One night, while Alyssa was supposedly at a work dinner, I found a transaction labeled Studio Fee, $120, recurring weekly. Cute. Except Alyssa can't sing. I've heard her in the shower murdering Adele songs like they personally offended her. She can't paint. Her idea of art is taking aesthetic photos of her latte. And she doesn't know what a studio is unless it has LED lights, a mattress on the floor, and a man named Malik flexing his abs for her Instagram. Yeah, that's when I found out who the studio belonged to. A quick social media deep dive led me to at Malik the Fitness, a self-proclaimed personal transformation coach with the body of a Greek god and the grammar of someone who thinks apostrophes are just decorative sprinkles for words. Now let me ask you something. How many trainers you know accept Zelle payments at 11 p.m. and wear Tom Ford cologne during squat sessions? I created a fake Instagram account. Profile pic? A stock photo of a woman doing yoga that I found on page 6 of Google Images. Bio? PR manager, fitness enthusiast, dog mom. Basic enough to be believable, generic enough to be forgettable. I DM'd Malik from this burner account pretending to be a promoter named Jessica. Told him I'm scouting fitness influencers for a fake reality show called Flex Factor. Mentioned a non-existent casting director and threw around terms like brand synergy and audience engagement metrics. Dude took the bait faster than a college freshman accepts free pizza. He sent me his portfolio, aka videos of him and Alyssa, working out, shirtless, on the bed, with Drake playing in the background complaining about fake friends. The irony was not lost on me. They weren't even trying to hide it. The videos were filmed in our apartment, on our IKEA bed frame that I had spent 4 hours assembling while Alyssa supervised by scrolling through TikTok. I recognized our $30 Target lamp in the background. My girl was filming content with this man on sheets I had purchased while I was at work, grinding to pay for a couch they were actively desecrating. In one video, you could literally see my work bag hanging on the bedroom door. It's like they were playing, "How many of Jordan's things can we include in our betrayal sex tape?" I thought about confronting her right then. Imagined myself standing in the doorway when she came home, phone in hand, playing the videos on loop like some sad, betrayed DJ. "Welcome home, honey. Nice workout today?" But what would that accomplish? A screaming match? Tears? Her gaslighting me into somehow believing this was my fault? You're never home, Jordan. Because I'm working to pay for the life you're living with Muscle Milk Malik. I could have gone full scorched earth. Expose her to her job, her parents, her little cousin Zoe who looked up to me and called me J-Dog. But then I had a better idea. More poetic. More intimate. I remembered something she said once in passing about 6 weeks into our relationship. We were watching some nature documentary about insects, and there was a segment on bed bugs. "I don't mess with bugs," she'd said, visibly squirming. "If I see even one spider in my apartment, I throw the whole room away." She laughed. I didn't. I took notes. And now, months later, that throwaway comment resurfaced in my mind like a vengeful ghost with unfinished business. I searched for weeks. Craigslist, forums, even Reddit's darker corners where people trade questionable goods and services. Do you know how shady you gotta be to find someone who sells bed bugs? It's not like they have an aisle for them at Walmart between the cereal and the toilet paper. Excuse me, where do you keep your revenge insects? I found a guy named Zane who sells them by the colony. Cash only, no questions asked, no refunds. His profile picture was just a blurry shot of a tattooed arm giving a thumbs up. His reviews were sparse but enthusiastic. One simply read, "Bugman good, ex-wife moved states, 5 stars." I messaged him through an encrypted app. Me, looking for special house guests, the kind that stay a while. Zane, how many rooms need filling? Me, 1 bedroom about 700 square feet. Zane, that'll be 300 for a starter colony. They multiply fast. Me, deal. We arranged to meet in a Walmart parking lot at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Because apparently, that's when all good life decisions are made. In the fluorescent glow of a discount store after midnight. I drove there feeling like I was in a bad crime movie, half expecting to be mugged, half expecting Zane to be an undercover cop specializing in busting the underground bedbug trade. But no, Zane was real, and so were his bugs. He pulled up in a beat-up Honda Civic with mismatched doors. Tall guy, skinny. The kind of person who looks like he knows too many conspiracy theories and probably has a basement full of canned goods for the apocalypse. He handed me a small styrofoam box wrapped in duct tape like it was a dead squirrel or nuclear launch codes. Inside, life, nightmares, 1,000 bedbugs. Active, hungry, waiting. Make sure the temperature's right, Zane advised, scratching his beard thoughtfully. Cold bugs die, warm bugs multiply. I should have been worried. Instead, I started planning. The way a general plans a war campaign, the way an artist plans a masterpiece, the way a complete psychopath plans the perfect crime. Take your pick. She had a bachelorette trip coming up. Her college roommate was getting married in Vegas, and Alyssa was going to be there for 3 days. 3 days gone. That's all I needed. I still had a key. The day she left, I watched her pack all her going-out clothes, the kind of outfits that use less fabric than a napkin, but somehow cost more than my monthly car payment. She kissed me goodbye, told me she'd miss me, and then texted someone, 3 guesses who, the moment she thought I wasn't looking. I waited 2 hours after her flight took off. Not because I needed to, but because I wanted to savor the moment, to feel the weight of what I was about to do. I entered her new place like a ghost in sweatpants, gloves on, hoodie up, and vengeance in my chest. She'd moved out 3 weeks after I discovered the truth, claiming she needed space to find herself. Apparently, finding herself involved finding Malik's apartment and making herself right at home. Her new place was small but trendy. The kind of apartment that has exposed brick walls and calls it character instead of unfinished construction. Pictures of her and Malik already decorated the fridge. 3 weeks, and I'd been replaced as thoroughly as an outdated iPhone. I unscrewed outlet covers, peeled up the corner of her mattress, slipped bugs behind picture frames, including a framed photo of her family where I had been clearly cropped out, my disembodied arm still visible around her shoulder like a ghost limb. I even put a few in her makeup drawer, figured they might enjoy a little Fenty before feasting. Those bugs were about to get a glow-up before they started their dirty work. The whole time I kept thinking, this is insane. I should stop. But then I'd remember the videos, the missing money, the K panties, the lies told straight to my face while I made her favorite pasta dish. On my way out, I left a note in her fridge, behind the oat milk she always bought but never drank because it was on trend. The note said, "You didn't lose a boyfriend, you gained a wildlife sanctuary, you're welcome. XOXO J-Dog." Maybe the signature was overkill, but at this point, subtlety and I had parted ways like Alyssa and her integrity. 3 days later, chaos. I didn't have to do anything except wait. The bugs were my tiny six-legged soldiers, carrying out my bidding while I maintained plausible deniability at a safe distance. Her group chat screenshots started leaking back to me through mutual friends who didn't know we'd broken up, or why. Alyssa crying about mysterious bites. Had to throw out her mattress. Exterminator said the infestation is biblical. I almost felt bad. until she posted on Instagram talking about starting fresh and rising above negativity with a picture of her in Malik's arms, both of them looking blessed and unbothered. Girl, you are rising above a colony of blood-sucking karma. Let's not get philosophical. The only thing you're starting fresh is your relationship with calamine lotion. She moved in with Malik temporarily. Guess who started getting bites 2 weeks later? Yeah. Bed bugs? Portable. Like emotional trauma and bad credit scores, they follow you wherever you go. Every parasite finds a host, but some hosts carry curses. That's not a real saying. I just made it up while watching Malik's Instagram stories gradually transform from gym selfies to increasingly desperate posts about pest control. Anyone know a good exterminator? Price no object, help SOS itchy. I anonymously left a Yelp review for Malik's fitness studio, which was really just the spare bedroom in his apartment where he filmed workout videos and occasionally trained actual clients. Place was infested, saw bugs in the shower. Would not recommend unless you want to itch through leg day. The only burn you'll feel is the histamine reaction from all the bites. The review got flagged. Then his business Instagram went dark. No more motivational quotes superimposed over his abs. No more Transformation Tuesday posts of women who mysteriously all had the same body type as Alyssa. Then his landlord posted eviction notices on the front gate. I have screenshots. For legal reasons, I didn't do any of that. But I sure did watch it unfold with the enthusiastic attention of someone binging a particularly juicy season of reality TV. It's been 6 months. I'm back in therapy. Dr. Livingston doesn't know about the bugs. She thinks we're just working through a bad breakup. And we are, along with my newly developed habit of checking my mattress seams every night before bed. My money's back. Not all of it, but most. Turns out, if you report fraudulent charges with enough documentation and righteous anger, banks eventually listen. My peace is back. Sort of. As much peace as you can have when you know you're capable of psychological warfare involving insects. And Alyssa? She's off social media, sleeping on an air mattress at her cousin's place, taking time to heal. According to mutual friends, she's working at a coffee shop now. The hipster one, where we had our first date. Life has a sense of humor, even when it's dark. Last week she texted me, "Hey, I've been thinking a lot. Would you ever be open to meeting for closure?" I stared at the message for a full hour, thought about all the things I could say, all the accusations I could make, all the receipts I could show her, both literal and figurative. Instead, I responded with one sentence. "Sure, if you promise not to bring any bugs with you this time." She blocked me. You know what they say, revenge is a dish best served warm, just like bed bugs like it. If there's a moral to this story, it's probably not use insects as weapons of mass destruction against those who wrong you. That's more of an immoral to the story. Maybe it's don't steal from your partner, or don't cheat in the bed you share, or even don't underestimate the quiet ones who take a lot of notes during nature documentaries. I'm not saying what I did was right. In fact, on a scale of Gandhi to supervillain, I'm probably leaning toward the cape and maniacal laugh end of the spectrum. But sometimes, when someone treats your heart like a doormat and your bank account like an all-you-can-eat buffet, you find yourself doing things you never thought possible, like meeting a man named Zane in a Walmart parking lot to buy insects. I've moved on now. New apartment, new job, new locks on my doors, and new passwords on my accounts. I even have a date next weekend with someone I met at a book club. We're taking it slow. I haven't shown her my bank statements yet, and she hasn't met my betting. Sometimes late at night, I wonder if Alyssa ever found the note, if she ever connected the dots between her mysterious infestation and the nature documentary comment from months earlier. If she realized that while she was busy playing me, I was taking notes. And sometimes, I check my mattress an extra time, just to be sure karma isn't coming for me next. Because if there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that life's smallest creatures often leave the biggest marks. Just ask Alyssa. Just ask Malik. Just ask their exterminator who probably sent his kids to college on their misfortune. The end. Oh, and if you're wondering, no, I don't Google how to legally ruin someone's life anymore. Now I just Google, how long do bedbugs live and statute of limitations on insect-based revenge? You know, just in case.